Hi, it's Jan Johnson, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you did. And we are number 7 of the 10 basic principles for learning how to tell the right story at the right time and telling it right. And this is based on Peter Guber's book, Tell to Win. And the entire series can be found on my blog at thejanjohnson.com/blog. And if you want to catch up, there's some great information in there, especially about the guy who wrote the book and the fact that telling your stories are what makes the sale. So as an entrepreneur, this is where you want to learn the importance of telling a story and how to do it and the points and the basic principles for doing it right. And so the 7th basic principle is this: demonstrate vulnerability and perseverance. Everyone has something in common with everyone else, so open up and expose your fears and concerns, allowing others to do likewise. The trick to perseverance is not to eliminate fear, but to use it to ramp up your energy, heighten your passion, and intensify your sense of urgency. I'm going to tell you a couple stories about me. And I'm going to use the author of the book, Tell to Win, that I have been using as the reference for all of this for this 10-part series. Peter Guber tells a story about how he went to pitch a minor league baseball field to investors in Vegas and focused on numbers instead of pitching to the heart on what he felt that this specific arena would do for the value of the city and what it would bring to the city. And he walked away feeling like he blew it because he didn't reach out to the heart. That was a story he told that he didn't tell a story. He used charts and numbers instead. And so that's an example from the book, a story he tells about how not telling a story failed him. And you know, I want to share with you that I'm a very private person. And I'm kind of in the wrong industry for that, if you think about it. Don't know why I chose this industry, but then when I think about things, I guess I do. Because as a private person, I'm also somebody who really strives to be successful. And that has to do with my background. And so I'm driven for that success. And in order to be successful, then once I landed in this industry, I had to persevere. And I had to do what it took, do what it takes in order to be successful, practice what I preach, and kind of come out of that shell and expose myself. And in exposing myself, because I wanted to be successful, then I came to know myself better, and I came to learn a lot about others in the process and how I affected others and others affected me. And continually to do so. One of the stories that I'll tell you is that prior to being in network marketing, or even when I was an executive for IBM, until I got into network marketing, nobody in my family knew that I was dyslexic, believe it or not. Back when I was growing up, no one knew what that was. And I discovered it. I was put in the lowest reading group at school and knew I was smarter than the people in that group. And I discovered this when I was having such a hard time reading, when my sister stepped in front of a mirror with a t-shirt on when I was really little and said, "Oh, look, Jan, how that's backwards in the mirror." And somehow something clicked in my brain and made me realize that how she saw it in the mirror is how I see things all the time. And if I could figure out how to flip this over, because I have a severe case of this, then I could maybe fool people into not thinking that I was stupid. That's what my mind said when I was a little girl. And so what I did was I took my homework down to the basement all through grade school and high school. And I wrote it out backwards, entirely backwards, because I write in mirror image writing, on the back side of the paper in pencil. And then I turned it over and traced it on the front side, and then erased the back side so no one would know I had the problem. And in that process, I focused as I wrote. And as I focused and persevered, I said to myself, I'm not going to live like my mom. What I meant by that is how poor we were. As the oldest of 7 children who slept on cardboard boxes in the basement, I didn't want to live like that. And so that perseverance and that intensity of focus allowed me to concentrate on what I was visualizing for myself. Interesting that I had that. Interesting that I overcame it that way. Interesting that this arena is what made me admit it and say it out loud. And interesting what it did to people who came upon me after that and learned that. Even my mom, when I finally shared the story with her, was so proud of me for what I had overcome and accomplished, and shared that with me in a way she'd never shared before, because she wasn't really an open person about that kind of thing. And so as people heard that story, then they opened up about their fears, and they opened up about family members and friends or children that they had or they themselves had to varying degrees of what I had, and things that they were trying to do to overcome, even being, you know, a non-outgoing person in the industry that they're in. So that goes back to this principle that is demonstrate vulnerability and perseverance. So that is a perfect story about how vulnerable I was and how I persevered through it. And since that time that I've told that story, I've told stories about health issues that I face, about deaths in my family, about millions of dollars that I lost in real estate. And when I open up and other people come back to me, then that's what creates the connection. But they're true and they're real and they're coming from the heart. They're not made up. And that is a basic principle in telling the right story and telling it right and knowing when to tell it at the right time. So we've got a couple more here, a few more to go. So hope you tune in to thejanjohnson.com. And if this video helped you, please comment and share. I'm so glad that you did. And if you know others that it can help, please share it with them. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day.